Good morning, everybody! This is the TSMU fan here, and today we will be doing a video that I think a lot of you will find interesting. Today, we will be discussing one fact for every Thomas and Friends movie, from Thomas and the Magic Railroad all the way up to Big World, Big Adventures. I know that a lot of people have made videos like this. Unlucky Tug has 2 videos up on one fact for every Thomas episode, and Thomas YouTuber TTTE Guy did one fact for every Thomas music video, but as far as I'm aware, nobody has done a video covering one fact for every Thomas movie yet. So I figured, why not jump on that idea? This video, as stated earlier, will be covering one fact from every Thomas movie, and these facts can either range from deep cut trivia to basic information. So without further ado, let's get into the facts. Thomas and the Magic Railroad. This movie is most known for being the only movie to have a director's cut, featuring lots of cut content that was not present in the final movie. One of the most notable things that was axed was the villain P.T. Boomer, who was supposed to be the main villain of the movie instead of Diesel 10. Played by Doug Lennox, his role was to interact with the Shining Time characters and set explosives to go off at Muffle Mountain, causing Thomas to tumble down the mountainside. P.T. Boomer was ultimately cut from the final movie because testing audiences found that he was too scary, and thus he never made an appearance in the final film. Or at least that's what you think. P.T. Boomer actually does appear in the final movie a total of 3 times. The first is when Lily and Stacy Jones meet up with Burnett Stone. In this scene, Burnett is seen giving directions to a man on a motorcycle. In the original director's cut, this scene played out as P.T. trying to get information on the lost engine out of Burnett and driving off before Lily and Stacy arrive. The other 2 times he appears is in the famous chase sequence at the end of the movie. You can see him here in this shot of Diesel 10, and again here when he enters the tunnel. It should also be noted that P.T. Boomer also appears in some early trailers of the movie, which were likely made before the character was cut. Calling All Engines. This movie was made in celebration of the 60th anniversary of the Railway series in 2005, and thus features lots of returning characters, such as Daisy, Derek, George the Steamroller, and even Lady in Diesel 10 from Thomas and the Magic Railroad. However, this movie is also the only Thomas movie to not introduce any new characters. There was, however, a new human character introduced in this movie, the airport manager. The Great Discovery. This movie is notable for being the only time a different and completely new narrator was brought in for a single, one-time role, Pierce Brosnan. However, the plan was not always that Pierce would narrate this movie. Before Pierce Brosnan was hired as the narrator, Gwyneth Paltrow was in talks with Hit Entertainment at the time when The Great Discovery was in development, according to SIF. If this would have actually happened, this movie would have made her the first female narrator for the English dub of the series. Negotiations with Gwyneth clearly did not end with an agreement, and in recasting the role of narrator, Hit wanted an A-list celebrity to narrate in all English-speaking markets and inject a bit of cool into the series. And thus, James Bond was cast to narrate a Thomas the Tank Engine movie, being the first time the US and UK had the same narrator since Ringo Starr back in the 80s. Hero of the Rails. This movie was the first Thomas movie to be animated in all CGI, with the movie being animated by Nitrogen Studios of Canada, who had also done the animation for the faces and the human characters in Season 12. However, this was not always the original plan. According to an SIF interview with Sam Barlow, Hero of the Rails was initially being developed as a model CGI hybrid, just like Season 12, and the story was even underway before the CGI transition. At this time, the movie was titled Whistle Down the Track. However, this was changed into a full CGI production after the script started being written, due to budget cuts making it not possible to build models anymore. Additionally, Pierce Brosnan was going to narrate this movie originally, as his original contract was that he would narrate seasons 12 to 14. This of course never happened, and Pierce was only the narrator of The Great Discovery. Misty Island Rescue. According to the 80th Anniversary podcast, this movie is former head writer Sharon Miller's favorite movie that she wrote, along with Hero of the Rails. As she states herself,
I loved it because I wrote it creating a world where you go and meet completely new people and you don't tell them what to do. You watch and you learn and you enjoy.
If only the fans could agree, as this movie was, well, not exactly the best movie.
That's right!
Day of the Diesels. According to SAF's interview with Sam Barlow, this movie originally had some scenes which were deemed as being too scary for children. A lot of fans theorized that this might have meant that the original version of this movie would have been a lot darker, which in turn inspired the fan-made video, Day of the Diesels leaked footage. However, in 2023, Ian McHugh revealed in an email to a fan that this cut of the movie was virtually the same as the final, and that the scary scenes in question were the amount of fire and smoke during the opening scene and the lighting at the diesel works, which was originally too dramatic. In this early version of the movie, Percy would have met Diesel 10 at the diesel works in the evening, and the diesel works itself would have had a red glow to it like the scrapyards in the earlier seasons did. This would have not been an intentional reference to how the lighting at the scrapyards was handled previously, but rather it was in reference to the three witches in Macbeth. Hit, of course, deemed it to be too dark and scary, and so Greg Tiernan was asked to tone it down. Blue Mountain Mystery. This movie, of course, features the grand return of the narrow gauge engines, who had not appeared in the show since 2008. Nearly all of the narrow gauge engines appear in this, except for Duncan. It's rumored that the reason he didn't appear is because his real-life basis, Douglas on the Tallyclyn Railway in Wales, was being overhauled at the time Nitrogen flew out to the railway to see the real engines in person during production of the movie. However, Duncan was not the only narrow gauge engine who does not appear in this movie, as the original plan was to bring back Fearless Freddy from season 10 as well. The original plan was for him to be voiced by Bob Golding, but he was also cut from the movie, as Freddy's real-life basis, Russell on the Welsh Highland Railway, was also being overhauled during the time the movie would have been in production. Bob Golding would, however, later go on to play Steven in the next movie, King of the Railway.
Surprise!
King of the Railway. In early concept art for this movie, Colin was shown to be working at Ulfstead Castle instead of at the wharf like he did in season 12. However, according to the artist of the concept art himself, Scott Capel, Colin himself was not intended to return. As he put it, I seem to remember there was a logical thing to include as the drawing was portraying the process of construction underway, getting materials from rail line up to the castle. The idea of a crane being at the castle helping with the construction was later removed, as there is no crane present when Thomas, Percy, and James arrive. Tale of the Brave. This movie features a beautiful song when Percy and Gator are together, appropriately titled Tale of the Brave. On November 11th, 2016, Robert Hartshorn, the composer, posted the full version of this song on his Twitter account, also stating that this was his favorite song. This song was also supposed to be the ending song of the movie, instead of Let's Be Brave. Apparently, Robert Hartshorn disapproved of having Let's Be Brave as the end credits song. However, Mattel ultimately stepped in and requested it be replaced, as the studio felt that Hartshorn's original song and slower orchestral arrangement was too boring for the ending credits. They wanted a more upbeat pop-sounding track, which led to the creation and inclusion of Let's Be Brave. A real shame that the song got replaced. The Adventure Begins. This special was made to celebrate the 70th anniversary of the franchise in 2015. Sodor Island fansay hinted on Twitter that, if the special sold well, a follow-up would likely be possible. The special was also hoped to be the start of a new mini-special series, however these plans, if any, were ultimately cancelled for unknown reasons. Sodor's Legend of the Lost Treasure. This is the only time that 2 movies were made to celebrate an anniversary, that being the 70th anniversary of the franchise as mentioned earlier with The Adventure Begins. It features the introduction of new characters such as Sailor John, the first human antagonist in the series after P.T. Boomer's removal from Thomas and the Magic Railroad. In this movie, Sailor John is played by famous actor John Hurt, and on the day of this special's UK theatrical release, he was knighted for his services to drama by Queen Elizabeth II at Windsor Castle. The Great Race. In this movie, the engines visit a railway show happening on the mainland, and 4 red diesels can be seen shunting trucks around the showgrounds, wearing a livery that resembles the real-life English, Welsh, and Scottish railway livery that some BR Class 08s were painted in. According to railway consultant Sam Wilkinson, Splatter and Dodge were originally considered for this role of being the shunters at the Great Railway Show. However, they were ultimately dropped. This is the second special that they have been cut from, after they were replaced by Paxton and Sydney in Day of the Diesels. Journey Beyond Sodor. This movie features Thomas stealing James's train to the mainland in order to prove that he is Sir Topham Hatt's favorite engine. On his travels, he meets up with a crane called Beresford, who only slows him down and causes him some trouble. After he gets past him, he meets up with the experimental engines Lexi and Theo, and eventually meets Merlin, the third experimental engine who thinks that he can make himself invisible by wheeshing lots of steam. These characters, Merlin and Beresford, are the only characters introduced in this film to make appearances outside of the special. Merlin later appeared in the episode Seeing is Believing from season 22, and Beresford made an appearance in the final episode, Thomas and the Royal Engine. Big World, Big Adventures. This is the only CGI series movie to feature an entirely deleted scene. It was during the song Free and Easy, and in this deleted scene, Ace meets up with Carlos from The Great Race while Thomas is waiting at a signal. Carlos asks him where he's going, and Ace tells him that he goes wherever he pleases, as he follows the sun. Carlos then mistakes Ace for a sun worshipper and shows him what their faces look like by deploying the Aztec calendar around his face. This makes Ace uncomfortable and he waits anxiously for the signal to turn green. This scene was originally present in the special at both the world premiere of the special and the original upload of the Free and Easy music video on the official Thomas & Friends UK channel. The scene was removed from later releases of the special, and a new version of the Free and Easy music video was quickly uploaded with the scene removed. It is unknown why it was removed, but it could have been possibly cut due to being offensive to some viewers. And yeah, I can see that honestly. It's a good thing that they removed it. And with that, I think that'll just about do it for this video. This is a fun one to go over, and I really hope that all of you watching enjoyed it as well. It proved to be fun to jump on an idea that other Thomas YouTubers have done before, and I especially love the production trivia on these movies, and how exactly they changed over the course of their production. If you have any of your own facts on any of the 14 Thomas movies, feel free to share them below in the comments. Anyways, a little bit of an update on my end. By the time this video goes up, I'll be on a cruise to Alaska, and I won't be back until the 28th of June. I made this quick video in the meantime so that I can have something to go up on my channel while I'm away, along with my Thomas and His Friends unboxing video and my The Little Engine Who Raced Ahead Trains remake video. Anyways, that's it from me, so I'm gonna end this video here. Thanks everybody so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this one, and I'll see you all in the next video. This is the TSMU fan signing out. Special thanks to my Patreon supporter, Railway Series 64. If you'd like to learn how to get your name at the end of every new video that I upload, please consider supporting me on Patreon. Link is on my channel homepage under my channel description.